What's up, everyone? You're tuned in to the Late Night Channel Eeps. I'm your host, EEPMON, episode 68. Please like and subscribe, especially for those if you are interested in knowing what goes behind in the creative entrepreneur, digital artist mind. I've been reading a book. It's called The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. This is a phenomenal book because it's probably the closest that I have seen and read and heard and articulated in a way that really describes the the underlying process of how creators do what compels them to create, um, and sort of the nuances of the subtleties that spark us creators to do what we do, and some really sound advice, which I already do this wholeheartedly in my own endeavors, but to see it being like written and explained and just described in this book, uh for me, it hits me at so many levels because I'm like, wow, I relate to exactly what he's talking about. Let me give you an example. There's a chapter called 24/7 Staying in It, okay? And I'll just read an excerpt. The artist's job is never truly finished. In many occupations, when we go home, we leave our work behind at the office. The artist is always on call. Even after we get up from hours engaged in our craft, the clock is still running. This is because the artist's job is of two kinds: one, the work of doing, and two, the work of being. Creativity is something you are, not only something you do. It's a way of moving through the world every minute, every day. If you are not driven to the unrealistic standard of dedication, it may not be the path for you. Okay? It's very, very important. This hits so many. This hits me in so many ways because I really relate to this. It's like it's hard for me to tell people why I do what is why I do like what why do I do what I do. Took me some time to really like kind of articulate that, but it's like it's not because I have to do it. It's because you want to do it. It's part of who we are. We live and we breathe it. It doesn't shut off. People say, "Oh, Iman, you work so much, you work so often. When can you take a break?" I can't take a break. Actually, I'm grateful to have found the thing that keeps me like entertained, and I enjoy quote unquote working and creating because it's my love, it's my passion. It's something that I cannot turn off. It's 24/7. I think about it. I think about what I want to do, what I want to create, where I want to go, what I want to strategize, when I'm awake, before I go to bed, when I'm taking a shower, when I'm doing my other business. you know, when I'm traveling, I'm thinking about, okay, what can I do? How can I maximize my time? Who can I meet? What kind of alignments can I create while I'm there? You know, my best creative epiphanies happen when I'm like taking a shower. It must be because of the ambient noise as the water shower hits the ground or whatever. I don't know what it is. Um, my when I'm walking alone, when I'm walking around, when I'm traveling, when I'm walking in the forest, like when I'm running, like these ideas and these inspirations by just observing how the tree moves and waves, and the sunlight going through the clouds, like all these things are not just for me to like to admire. It's actually, as the book says, the work of being. It's I'm working all the time. Like what I mean in the sense of working. It's like my creativity is always on, whether I am actually like working, like using the tools to create, and if I'm not using the tools to create, I am experiencing the world as my source of inspiration and creative fuel to spark new ideas and more things to and things to really spark new ideas to create. Um, so that's that. I'm not sure if fellow creators can relate to this, but I bet you. I think you do, right? Like we're always on. We're always on the go. And that is why I go back to the point that I can never stay at one place at one time. Because for me, the work of being has become disrupted. The work of doing, yes, but that's just like, perhaps it's just like 50% of the battle. It's not even a battle, but it's like 50% of my working is really doing things. And then the other 50% is just being, like traveling, going out there, experiencing, meeting, and all these things. So I really felt that this book really nailed every chapter, really like hits home a lot of the things that I think about. And sometimes I feel like, am I just the only one? I know maybe one or two other people who think the same way as me, but this really, I cannot believe that this is actually is quite a phenomenal book. Um, yeah, it's just like these really great quotes he also has is like, for example, what do you say here? Let me just go 1 second here. Um, Sometimes it can be the most ordinary moment that creates an extraordinary piece of art, right? We're always searching for that one thing. In one of the chapters, he talks about like the lightning bolt. It's like we always want to find that lightning bolt, like crazy epiphany. Like this is amazing. This is what's gonna be the we're always looking for that one hit, like the hit that's gonna make a big deal. But instead, and I truly believe this as well. Like like don't search for that unicorn thing. These things will happen over time or naturally. Instead of looking at the lightning bolt itself, look at the lightning bolt before and after. Look at the light the energies that are surrounding the lightning bolt. Those are the things that you can actually are probably the great indicators and the first steps in really building the momentum to perhaps potentially becoming that big strike. But without to get to that strike to directly to the source is pretty much improbable. One needs to start to warm up to the idea, really look around the edges, start to build and start to create based on these sort of ideas that you're percolating. And then over time, perhaps it will become that aha moment. But until then, like a bit of delayed gratification, folks, is sort of like, work within the means in which you can foresee at the moment. And for me, I told you, right? I can only see things 4 months at a time. I know that there's something down the road. I have this fuzzy idea where I want to go, but I'm just chipping away at it. And by chipping away at it, I'm just gonna work around the parameter, the perimeter, within that long term goal I want to get to. So I think not just creative, anyone who wants a dose of some really awesome reality, creative realities, like this book is phenomenal. I highly recommend it. I'm not done yet, but I'm just surprised I've actually went this far because it's That means it's like it's an incredible read. But that's our lives, folks. That's the way we do things. And I said, like I said, like this, what this book is talking about is more. It's not really anything about quantification. Like, remember, I was talking about my previous episode where we have, success in the eyes of society appears to be based on a lot of like statistics and quantifying things, measuring things, but a lot of, and I believe that the innovation, the underlying innovation uh, of what you do, whether it's a product, a service, something like it's, what do I say? It has to. Um, I do believe that it's a qualitative manner, something you can't really measure it. It's really qualitative. Like it's like you have to feel it. You have to sense it. You have to observe it in order to make something truly innovative. Uh, so this book does a really great job to describe these qualitative aspects of artists. It's quite amazing. I like, this book is like, wow. It's like speaking my language big time. So if I can't explain people like why I do that I do and all that kind of thing, well, this book is the one that's going to explain it further. Otherwise, people just think that we're just crazy, crazy artist. So yeah, that's my little talk about that. Um, I never thought that I'd become the person I am today. Really, again, I was, as I said before, when I was growing up, my definition of success was getting, get a degree, get married, get a job, get married, get a house, have kids, live happily ever after. Maybe have two cars. But that was really a boomer. I think that's a really boomer definition of success. Unfortunately, this society is never stagnant. Folks, nothing is ever stagnant. So it's very important that we do not catch ourselves becoming dogmatic, complacent. It's a moving target, society and life is. Um, so what they what I was taught when I was growing up was only in the eyes of other people when they were growing up, knowing what worked for them. But what works for us today is completely different. Completely. So yeah, that's that. So when I was growing up, and then I don't know, I guess part of it was that I always felt that I was being taken care of, very very protected, a bit sheltered. So part of me was probably like, I needed to, if I really want to fulfill and find that success, I had to take matters into my own hands. I had to do my own thing. I had to go out there and really build myself from the ground up. And that's partly why, like, that's part of the reason why I have EEPMON. That's why I started EEPMON, really. Like, can I do this? Can I really achieve this creative goal by doing things on my own terms? That's how I feel that I'll be my freest and most, like, my strength is based on being as free as I can. That being said, it is very very difficult. Um, but yeah, like just one thing after another, and I just kept at it, and 10, 15 plus years, and then here I am, and I look back and I'm like, wow, like you're, how did you become the person you are now? Like it's just like, you in lifetimes ago you were just very safe, Eric Chan, very safe individual, don't want to like stir the boat, be obedient. But I'm so glad my eyes were opened ever since I continued with my own path. But yeah, here I am today. And through my path, I learned a lot about my own truths, my own philosophy, my own spirituality, and understanding um, myself more, right? What I'd like, when I want, what works for me, what are my strengths, what do I like to create, where do I like to go, where do I draw my energies from, how to mitigate, how to not mitigate, but it's more like how do I develop a cadence to really know what to cadence to develop myself, to know just really understand the projects, knowing how to connect the dots, all these things, right? I learned on my own. And this book, like, completely different. I didn't even know who Rick Rubin was until I saw this book, and the way that he explains it, again, like, he's not like, like, we're all different. We're all different in our creative aspects, but we all relate through this. I don't know what you call it, a system, but it's something very magical. He also describes it in our in his chapter. One of his statements, like, we deal in the magic realm. It's magic. Art is as close as magic as like casting magic spells. I really believe that. We're like wizards or mages, warlocks. We just cast spells through art. But it just really described it. I don't know who he was. Who I'm sure he's a very accomplished guy. Okay, but this book was like, wow. I just can't nail it, but like, if he feels that way by describing that, and I feel that way, and I'm sure other artists feel that way too, that it's you can't quantify that. It's a qualitative nature. So if that's the case, but then it's being repeated, this feeling of like this know-how of understanding how the universe works. If he feels that way, and I feel that way, then the universe is far more mysterious than we think it is. These patterns. There's these patterns, spiritual patterns, almost ghostly. But yeah, I find that so phenomenal, like, so incredible. Anyway, that was my little spiel. What do you think, though? Do you think are creators listening, or even if you're not creators, do you feel the same way too? The way of being and the way of doing, like these two aspects. Do you relate to that? If so, leave a comment. Please like, subscribe again. This is the Late Night Channel Eves, episode 68. Yeah, 68. Have a great evening. Have a great afternoon. Have a great morning wherever you are in the world. It's a long day. I'm a little tired, and I'm going to go to bed and probably dream and think about more about that chapter. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.